questions.
Yeah, going live now. I think we're
Very
live.
Good. Very good. Excellent.
Right.
Live and
So
on the internet.
Welcome anyone joining us live on YouTube or maybe watching a recording later. That's okay too. I am at Ventana Big Sur, which is my favorite hotel resort that I've ever been to.
And it still is. So apparently this day is going all right as well, huh?
It is. So, we stayed here for the first time, and the previous time to this one was 2 years ago. So right before the pandemic started, and as I wrote about, we loved it. And, so we booked actually several times during the pandemic to come back, but it kept getting canceled for various reasons, usually because of COVID, but one time because of a fire in the region. And we finally get to come back. And I have to admit, I was a little bit nervous that there might be some, my expectations were too high.
Hype.
Yeah. That maybe it was special because it was new and, I didn't really know, but no. It really is special.
It really is that good. Very nice. Have you done any activities while you've been there this week? I mean, I don't know how long you've even been there. I know you've been out and about. I haven't tracked closely how many days you've been in each place.
So we checked in Sunday, and it's Wednesday now, right? So a few days. So that's one thing that's improved for the better is they have more included activities than they used to. So the other thing that's changed is when I was here 2 years ago, it was not all inclusive. You paid for any food that you got. But now it's all inclusive food wise. And now just recently, like this month, they've added a bunch of new activities. And so unfortunately, like one of them is falconry, which you're
very good at. You're skilled at. You're highly experienced falconer.
I'm very skilled at. We had done before, but unfortunately it was already like filled up for the one day that we'll be here during the week when they were doing it. So if you're going to book Ventana, make sure to sign up as soon as you book the hotel for the falconry. I think that would be great. They're going to be doing beekeeping, but that doesn't open for another couple weeks, I think. So we missed that, but we did do today we did a foraging hike where you walk around and basically eat things off the ground. That was nice. We did a big coastal hike yesterday, which is not what it sounds like. It's not walking along the coast. It's walking up this coastal road, like real high up into the mountain. And that was great. Let's see.
So hiking and foraging, but no beekeeping. That stinks.
No beekeeping yet. Yeah, we were out of unable to beekeep. Unable to beekeep.
Yeah. Well, very good. It sounds like a great stay. I look forward to reading more about it. I hope you're going to review it again because I've been curious how it would compare to your previous trip and what has changed, both for the better and worse. You mentioned already the all-inclusive nature now. I mean, that's got to be a positive change, I would think, but I look forward to reading about it.
Yeah, the only downside is that it's very hard to get motivated to get off the property. Everything's so nice here. It's like I'm not, Big Sur is so beautiful, and so there's lots to do outside of the resort. But to be honest, we have not left the resorts since being here. I'm okay with it.
That's all right. Got to kick back and relax sometimes. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got some questions to get to, so let's hop right into it because Grant is at the beginning here. So Grant leads us off with, hey, Greg and Nick, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, what's one thing that you love or are really excited about with traveling or travel hacking right now? Oh, I see what he did there. With Valentine's Day around the corner, what's one thing you love about travel hacking right now, or one thing related to this game that you're in love with, Greg?
Oh, yeah. You know the answer. I am in love with booking preferred hotels with choice points. That process is so much fun.
Just so much fun. He wrote an ode to it. He wrote an ode to booking preferred hotels. If you missed it, you can go back and check. I I knew that Grant would ask this question, and I had something in mind like 2 days ago prepping, and now it popped right back out of my mind, whatever it was that was on my mind. So, I mean, right now I'm loving the fact that I've got a lot of American Airlines miles, so I'm booking trips speculatively. So I'm pretty excited about that. Also, just generally excited to be looking at award availability again, because I had mostly been sitting things out during the pandemic. My kids are too young to be vaccinated, so I wasn't interested in traveling internationally yet. But now that that's on the horizon for them, I think we're getting a little bit more serious about actually getting back into this. We keep seeing Greg's pictures of his trips, and we're more than a little jealous. So we're looking forward to getting out there and doing some travel of our own. So just the process of getting into it and looking at stuff is exciting right now. So that's going to be my answer for now. But Grant, maybe I'll come back to you before we're done, because I'm sure that something else will come up as we get into more questions. Like question number 2 coming in from Scott, who asks, any recommendations for first-time visitors? I have a trip planned this summer and I'm super excited. I assume this is about the Ventana Big Sur. So if you are a first-time visitor to the Ventana Big Sur, what are your tips, Greg?
Yeah, well, so I mentioned one at the beginning of the program, which is as soon as you've booked, see about getting on the schedule for the falconry, because that apparently fills up quickly. It's now included, so they have activities that are included and activities that cost extra. So you actually, to tell you the truth, you don't have to do it right when you book, depending on how far out that is. But at some point, you'll get an email from the concierge team and jump on that and quickly respond with what activities you want to make sure you're signed up for. The daily, like every day, there's different walks around the property. You don't have to sign up for those in advance, but the special things like beekeeping, once that's available, falconry, I would definitely sign up for those in advance. Who knows what else might be available? They seem to be adding things regularly. The paid ones probably make sense to also sign up in advance just in case. So that'd be the main thing. But no, just enjoy. It's so peaceful here. It's so one of the things when I was at Miraval recently, one of the things I kind of complained about a little bit in my review, although I love Miraval, but was that it wasn't really luxury in the way you expect, like a luxury resort. You expect them to have like, plush robes and towels and ceramic mugs instead of paper mugs and things like that. And believe me when I say Ventana, it is luxury. Everything, they do not cheap out on any little thing here not a single thing that I've seen. So that's really great. And if you enjoy the all-inclusive is done so well too. If you enjoy getting room service, you can have every meal brought to your room if you want to. You can, but then you'd be missing out on eating at the restaurant patio that overlooks the ocean, which is spectacular. So definitely do that at least some of the time as well.
So for dining, do you have to make dining reservations? Is that
for
something
dinner
you should do before you?
Yeah, but they make sure you do. So the concierge team will pester you about like asking you roughly what time you like to eat dinner, and then they'll make the reservations for you, and then you could tell them whether those work or not. And so one tip, depending on what time of year you're going, it may or may not matter. But for dinner, the restaurant is a great place they seat everybody outside, and it's a great place to watch the sunset if the timing's right. So I would look ahead at what time sunset is for when you're going to be here. And if it's not like outrageously far from when your normal dinner time is, try to pick that hour, because that would be a great way to enjoy your dinner. Because even though we have a relatively early dinner seating, 6:15 most nights, that's right now in the winter, that's just after sunset. So there's still a very pretty glow for a little while, but even if we just started at 6 instead of 6:15, it would be nicer from that point of view.
Good to know. Good to know. There you go. Smart tip there. All right. Randy jumps in with, hi guys. I have the Amex Platinum and the Amex Delta card. I don't think it matters which one for the question here. What is the best way to utilize my Amex $200 incidental credit, my $200 airline incidental credit on Delta?
Well, I mean, go to our web page. That's what works, airline incidental fees, what works, something like that, and see what people have done and see if there's any of those things that work for you. What I do is I make sure to pay award fees with my platinum cards, because even though award fees aren't supposed to count, they do. They do get reimbursed. And so that's a good way to use it. But there's a lot of other things that people do. So take a look there.
Yeah, I'm sure that Stephen will pop the link in the chat for you for the Amex airline incidental fees, what still works post. So there you go. Hopefully that'll help. Peter asks us, any more updates about IHG? I have the old $49 card. Agree I should apply for the Premier card now and then upgrade later too. What do you think? So first of all, I guess the first question is, if you have the old $49 IHG card, should you apply for the IHG Premier now, assuming that you're under 524 and eligible? And so that's question number one. And then the follow-up question to that is, do you think it'll be possible and advisable to upgrade and have two Premier cards down the road?
You know, it kind of just will depend on how much you value the ability to stay at IHG hotels. And certainly those 40K certificates and the ability to upgrade them with points is going to be super valuable. I love that feature. But so whether it's worth a 524 slot kind of just depends. How much do you expect to love that feature? And is there anything you'd be giving up? Like, for example, if you're into Hyatt and you want the Hyatt card, what does that mean? You're not going to be able to get the Hyatt card, and that would be a consideration. So, just figure that out. But if there weren't any constraints like that, I mean, I like the idea of signing up for the Premier card now. Before we get to the second part of the question, what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with it a little bit. Like, I think if you value that, like Greg said, then absolutely get it now. I don't feel like I need two certificates. And if I did, I know my wife could apply. So I don't necessarily know that I need to have two IHG cards. Now, there's reasons why you might want both because of the fourth night free and the 10% back. So I can certainly see the argument for it. I just don't use enough IHG points that I don't think I care enough to get the Premier myself. But I think if you stay at IHG's enough to be asking the question, then probably for you, it does make sense to get it. Now, to get the Premier while you still can. But personally, I wouldn't be getting the Premier in order to end up with two Premiers. I would be getting the Premier to end up with your $49 IHG card and the Premier. I don't think, if it's even possible to upgrade to a second Premier card, I don't necessarily think that I would do that, because you want to be able to stack the fourth night free with the 10% rebate on the old IHG card. So, like Greg has explained before, you can book a hotel, get the fourth night free, and get 10% of your points back if you have both the Premier and the old no longer available select card. Now, I don't know if Greg froze and disappeared or if I froze and disappeared. So if it was Stephen, can you let me know in the chat box whether it was Greg that froze? Greg froze. Okay, great. Awesome. Not awesome, but he'll be back. So, and he may even be sneaking back in already. So that's my story. And now I want to know Greg's reaction. What do you think about my opinion, Greg? No, I'm just teasing. You're back. You're back.
So am I back? Okay,
You
good. I wasn't sure. It was a little scary there. So I'm glad that I was worried that because I was hosting the meeting that it would kill the live for everybody.
I mean, maybe it did for a second, but it says live now, so I assume we're still live. So
it appears to be that's great.
That's great.
Zoom told me my internet was unstable, and then I went away for a little while.
Then you restabilized and came back. Well, I guess that's what the Ventana Big Sur is all about, isn't it? So,
so getting back to the Premier card, I didn't hear your whole answer as you imagine, but as far as whether to upgrade the old card to the Premier once that is I would just wait and see whether it's true that the Premier cards that the old Select cards free night certificates are not point upgradable. I know we've been told that they won't be, but you just never know for sure. So I personally plan to wait and see, because I won't even consider upgrading if they are good free night certs that can be where you can use points.
Right. I don't think I'll consider upgrading either in that case. I mean, there are fourth night free, I guess, and the United credit. I don't know. I mean, maybe those things are worth something to you, but if they were, you probably would have already upgraded your Select. So I'm assuming that those things aren't big enough draws, and you'll already have access to the fourth night free if you apply for the Premier. So I wouldn't give up the old 10% rebate. Certainly not if you're able to upgrade those 40K certs. All right. Yifty asks us, I want to have 2 Ritz cards. Can you sign up for the boundless first, but don't spend on it so you don't get a bonus, thus not being eligible to sign up if you had a bonus in the last 24 months? Rule doesn't apply. Upgrade to the Ritz in year 2, then sign up for the boundless again, meet the minimum spending requirement, and upgrade to a second Ritz in year 3.
I don't know. I would go find my post on are you eligible for Marriott cards and read the the various terms very carefully. And it sounds like this person has. And so I think if you're following the rules, it probably is possible, I would think, but I don't know. I don't know anyone who has 2 Ritz cards.
Yeah. I mean, I would expect that it is. I have an old Marriott card that I guess I could try to upgrade, but to see if it's confirmed that it's possible to have both. But I would think so. So the 2 posts you want to look at are, there's the one that's like, are there 2 posts? Is there a post that's just about the rules, but then there's one about how to get all 5, right? All 5 Ritz cards, or all 5 Marriott cards rather.
Oh, yeah, or at least how to get a bunch of them at once. But yeah, the one I always go to personally is the one that's like, are you eligible for a new Marriott card? Because it just has all the rules laid out and in multiple ways. So you can try to, it helps you understand what the permutations are. But I know in that other post you're referring to, I did not consider the idea of getting 2 Ritz cards. So I don't think that would help.
Fair enough. Okay. Brian asks, I have a family of 5. Are there any sweet spots that would have enough availability for business class for 5? Is there any way to tell if a certain route will never have that many seats available?
I'll let you answer that one. What do you think?
Well, I mean, 5 is tough. 4 is hard enough, and the more seats, it's going to be just much more difficult. So you're really, as to which routes are never going to have that many seats available. Yeah, most of them. So you're going to want to seek out the routes that frequently have at least 6 seats, because I think it's probably rare that you're going to find somebody with 5. So, and generally off the top of my head, the carriers you're going to find that might have that many available are going to be British Airways, because they have such high fuel surcharges. They often have 6 business class seats available. I know that Asiana used to be known for making 6 seats available on a lot of their flights, but I think that changed at some point. So I'm not sure if that's true anymore. I haven't tried to look at their availability in a long time. So that might be an airline to look at for 6 seats. Another one that just popped into my mind, went right back out. What was it? I know Swiss often has 4, but that's not 6. There was another airline, and hopefully somebody else is going to pop it in the box that popped into my mind momentarily. Well, the other thing is airlines that allow more availability to their own members. So Cathay Pacific, I found 6 seats on Cathay Pacific a few times, and actually those were available to everybody. I imagine that at least those 6 seats and maybe more were available directly via Asia Miles. Same thing for Singapore KrisFlyer. You may pay more for a couple of the seats, and I guess that's something you're going to have to consider, that you're going to have a harder time getting 6 saver seats. You may end up having to get 4 saver seats and then use that airline's miles to pay the anytime price for a couple of seats. That's probably going to be your option. Though in a lot of routes that aren't departing the United States, I've seen 6 business class seats on Singapore before. I've booked 6 seats, in fact, on Singapore before. So I think those are a few options for you. And like I said, the non-saver level thing, I mean, you can easily book 6 business class seats on American or United if you have enough miles and you're willing to pay for it. That's your other option. Or you're going to have to split and either take 2 flights or have a couple of people sit in economy or premium economy, depending on the situation.
Right. What about Emirates? They always seem to have a lot of space, but I have never looked for a lot of people at once.
I haven't looked for a lot of people. I've looked for four and I have found four. So I haven't tried to look for more. They have a very big business class on the A380. I mean, there's a lot of seats in there. So I don't know off the top of my head how many it is, but I could imagine because you have to basically book those through Emirates these days to get a decent deal. I could imagine they may have a bunch of seats. But again, it's also the situation where you may only get four of those at the very best pricing, and then it may cost you a few more miles, but at least Emirates is transfer partners with lots of people. So I think that's probably a possibility. First class, definitely not, but business class, you might get 6 seats on Emirates. So those are a few options to consider.
Yeah. So what airline should he just not even bother? Because there's just no way.
I mean, most of them. I've never seen more than a few seats on ANA. I've never seen more than a few seats on well, you know what? Here's another one for you to look at, Air France. Because again, that's a case of variable pricing. So you'll probably be able to get 6 seats or 5 seats. I keep saying 6 because typically they release seats, most airlines in business class anyway, in blocks of 2, it seems. So, but there's another one where you may get your 5 seats on Air France. Where you're not going to find them, I've never seen 5 on Finnair, though I had never seen 4 on Finnair until just recently here. So that was a surprise anyway. I mean, I don't know, most airlines, have you ever seen that many seats? Every now and then you might get lucky with Delta through Virgin Atlantic. Every now and then we'll find a flight that's got like 8 seats available on it, but that's when somebody wasn't doing their job and right
too much.
It's a unicorn situation. So
it happens. I think it happens occasionally on just about any airline, but it's big news when it does happen.
Right. That's a lot of seats. That's a lot of seats. If you're willing to fly like 3 and 2, then you got a world of availability or possibilities. But if you want 5 all on one flight, you got to get lucky. And every now and then you might. I got lucky with 6 business class seats on the nonstop from Newark to Honolulu once. On United, I was shocked. I have a hard time finding 1 seat now on that route. Forget about. I don't even think they're flying it right now, but finding 1 seat has been tough before the pandemic.
Sure.
But you get lucky sometimes. All right. Yuri asks another question here. Yuri says, I recently tried booking a Hilton resort, and the reservation said that it will charge my card, a partial charge rather, but nothing's been charged so far. Why is that? It said it was going to charge his card for something and it didn't. Why is that, Greg?
They lied. I don't know.
I have no idea. No clue.
No, I don't know.
All right. So Yolanda says, I'm looking for award space on Virgin Atlantic to book Delta, but it keeps telling me I cannot book the route on points. Tried numerous routes. Am I doing anything wrong?
You might be, but no, I mean, it's very common these days that Delta is not releasing much award space at all to their partners like Virgin Atlantic. So I don't know if you're doing it right, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if you're not finding anything. It's very odd that Delta seemed to have stopped giving it. Not that they always had lots of award space, but they just seemed to, like the pandemic, seemed to make them decide, okay, we're just not doing it anymore or hardly at all for a while. And they don't appear to have come back in a big way. So that's unfortunate, but that could change anytime. So I would keep looking.
I mean, it always ebbed and flowed. Like Greg said, it's definitely, it seemed like very little as of late. So, I don't know if that's going to change, but in the past, there were times where you'd find no seats or 2 seats, and all of a sudden you'd see 8 seats, and then you'd see 2 days that had availability. And then one day you'd search and you'd see 20 days have availability. So it was always kind of like a little ebb and flow, but definitely not much flow lately. So that's unfortunate, but just keep searching. And I don't know, when I'm looking for an award like that, I just keep searching each day when I'm doing something where I'm sitting and waiting in line or something. Instead of scrolling Facebook, I'll research my award availability, whatever route it is that I'm searching. I'll search that again and again, 2 or 3 times throughout the day when I'm sitting during those times when you're kind of stagnant, not doing anything anyway. I'll just research because sometimes things pop up all of a sudden and you want to be the person who sees it first. So best of luck with that, Yolanda. Gary asks us, are you certain that the Capital One Spark Cash Plus card with a $3,000 offer doesn't report to your personal credit? Every blog says that, but I keep seeing data points of people who said it showed up in their 524 tally.
Oh, well, Doesn't report your personal credit. So do we know? So there's two different things, right? There's how many?
No,
go ahead.
no,
tell
no,
me what you know, Nick.
I
I'm
mean,
forgetting what this.
We got that straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, that they don't report that to the personal bureaus anymore. So anybody who's saying that it's counting towards their 524 count may have an older one, because if you had one before, they stopped doing that. I can't remember. It was like maybe 2 years ago, maybe. I can't remember exactly when. I'm sure we had a post about it, but before that, they reported to the personal bureaus. So, but although it's been long enough now that I would think that anybody who had one, it wouldn't be counting towards their 524 anymore, right?
Right.
It's gotta be.
I mean, it's also possible that they're like that Hilton resort and they lied.
Right. They lied. Possible.
I mean, so yes, we were told by Capital One that they're not reporting it, but we don't know. We haven't tested that, to my knowledge.
No, we haven't. Not that I know of. Although we do have a couple of potential guinea pigs on the team, I think, or at least one. So we'll find out soon whether or not
it's worth
that happens. It's worth keeping an eye on that. So
yes, for sure.
So we'll keep an eye on that. And the other thing is that obviously if you don't pay your bill, it's going to get reported. So, I mean, so that's a potential thing too. So I don't know though. I'm not sure which data points you've seen. Maybe you can share a couple in the chat box and Stephen will pop those over to my email or something so that I can take a look and see. All right. Kevin says, what would be a recommended route to Peru from the Boston area? How would you find seats to Peru from the Boston area, Greg?
Well, so what I like to do personally is I look at, I just use Google Flights to see what airlines have good routes to where I want to go. So, I would check that first and then, you're probably going to find Delta and American and who knows which one, United, but also probably some other ones.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know if Copa flies out of Boston for sure, but
Copa, you probably have Copa. Anyway, whoever it is, then you have a good idea of who has good routes and times, and then I would go look for availability for those.
So, and my tip on that, actually, to add something to it, is last year when I was using Juicy Miles, which of course is not functional right now, but I stumbled on the fact that I had forgotten that Copa is partners with Air France, with Flying Blue, and the cheapest way to book those Copa flights turned out to be through Flying Blue. I had a friend who was looking to book a ticket from South America to the United States, and sure enough, it was like economy. It was like 13,000 points or something one way from, I think it was Brazil to New York. So it was a pretty solid deal. I think I could be making that up. It was somewhere in that range, anywhere where I was like, wow, that's a lot better than everybody else. So I think probably if you're going to Peru, I don't know if you said Delta flies there. So apart from that, I think probably Star Alliance is going to be your strongest option, I would think, because you got Avianca. You've got Copa, so they're both going to fly there. But then LATAM, I don't know, maybe Delta is a good option. We'll see. But yeah, I think Greg gave you some good tips there in terms of how to start looking. Once you find an airline that's got an option you want, though, make sure you look up the best ways to book flights on that airline, because you may find that there are different options. Now, the other thing to look for is we should have, in our best ways to get to, I believe we've got a best ways to get to South America using miles and points, and hopefully Stephen will pop that link in the box. So I do have all the sweet spots in there, so you can kind of look through and see which airlines offer the best sweet spots for the airlines you're looking to fly. Okay, long answer there. Abel asks us, what are your favorite Hyatt Category 4 redemptions, either ones you've already done or any that are on your radar? Also, does the free night certificate still count when Category 4 properties are peak priced at 18,000 points per night?
Yeah, well, the second part's easy to answer. Yes, so that's something that Hyatt did much better than how Marriott did it, which is your Category 1 through 4 really is good for all Category 1 through 4 hotels, regardless of whether they're peak or off peak price. So that's awesome. Wow. So I don't have particular Category 4s off the top of my head that I either love or are eager to get to, but I have a post that has a whole list of, the best Category 1 through 4 Hyatts to use your free night certs. And that's where I go when I'm so when I'm traveling, I actually always will refer back to that and say, oh, I'm going to Phoenix or something. Are there any of them on here? And then I'll see if it's available like that.
Yeah. So, and I don't have a list of category 4 options either off the top of my head. I know that our new addition to the team, Tim, just wrote a post about the Hyatt centric Las Olas, I think is what it's called, in Fort Lauderdale. And that was a category 4. I've used mine though. Actually, I used a couple of category 4s at category 3 places. Even I think the Hyatt Regency in Japan, in Tokyo, I think might have been a category 3 when I used it there. That was a pretty good use. And another place that's been on my radar for a long time where you could use a certificate, but actually also is only a category 3, is the Park Hyatt Mendoza in Mendoza, Argentina. That's some place that I would love to get to at some point. I don't know as though Argentina is accepting visitors right now, though. I'm not sure. So maybe that example won't work for you, but definitely the post that Greg has is going to have tons of good options. Let's see. Next question. How many nights do you think is the perfect amount of nights at Ventana? So you're at Ventana Big Sur right now. How many nights is, just the right amount of nights?
Just right. 365, something like that.
I thought you might say something like that.
Yeah.
It hasn't gotten old yet.
No, I said to my wife this week, I was like, I know where we need to retire to, but I don't have enough Hyatt points.
Keep working on it. Keep working.
Yeah.
See, if you were a manufacturer spending on something other than those Delta cards, you probably would have enough Hyatt points. But it's those Delta cards have been holding you back for years.
Right. That must be the problem. I'd say I would definitely want to stay a minimum of 3 nights. I don't think there's an upper bound where, maybe there is, but I'm certainly on our 5-night trip not thinking like, oh, it's too long, I'm bored or anything like that. So I would say anywhere from 3 to 7 nights would be great.
Very good. Yep. Excellent. All right. Logan asks, I'm trying to convince my wife to visit Alila Ventana with me, but she prefers Napa. We've never done either. What are Mrs FM'S Ventana highlights? And would you rather do Ventana or Napa, or let's see, Ventana/Napa or Napa/Ventana? Is that an order thing or which one? I'm not sure.
Well, kind of regardless, I haven't been to Napa, so it'd be hard for me to say. I'm not personally big wine drinker, and so the whole wine tasting thing is like I enjoy doing that, but it's just not a high priority for me. Whereas hiking is something that both my wife and I really love doing, and it's just absolutely beautiful here in Big Sur hiking. It probably is pretty in Napa, but I doubt it reaches the level here. You have a very unusual environment here in Big Sur where the redwood trees grow. Here this is as far south as redwood trees come, and so you have this like unbelievably beautiful huge trees everywhere when you're hiking, and then of course the cliffs down to the ocean is spectacular. And Ventana just does it right as far as the all-inclusive nature, the quality of the rooms, the quality of the food, the quality of all the sort of individual things. Like the sheets feel great. The every little thing is like high, very high end. And could you find that in Napa? Probably, but I have nothing to compare it to, so I can't say.
I haven't been to Big Sur. I have been in Napa, and I feel like they seem like they're quite different types of things. Like Greg said, I just from looking at Greg's pictures, I can say hands down to me, Big Sur seems much more beautiful. Not that Napa isn't pretty, it is, but Big Sur looks stunningly gorgeous. Whereas Napa to me is rolling hills, and I come from rolling hills, so that doesn't wow me as much as somebody who maybe comes from a city, right? So I like it. That's why I live in a rolling hilly area, I guess. But it isn't as stunning to me as Big Sur is. On the flip side, obviously, if you like wine and if you like gourmet food, I'm sure that there's great food at Ventana also. But of course, you have things like the French Laundry and the other one, the Ad Hoc, that's sort of like an offshoot of the French Laundry. Ate at both of those places on my last trip out there. Fantastic gourmet food. So you've got some of those types of things in Napa that I bet you probably have some of in Big Sur too. But so I guess it depends a little bit on the type of experience that you're looking for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Big Sur, there's not a lot of restaurants and things.
Okay.
There's very little. If you're into the foodie scene, I mean, the food's very good at Ventana, but you're not going to be, going out each night to a different place and getting the kind of quality food that you would get at like the French Laundry, for example. Nothing like that I'm aware of anyway. So yeah, it's completely different
experience. Yeah. Very good. All right. So there you go. Question 14 comes in from Michael. Michael says, read your post about the Amex debit card and how you were meh about it. You said you thought there were better debit cards. So what top 3 debit cards for listeners, or what are the top 3 debit cards for listeners if they wanted a debit card?
All right. Well, that was not either of us that wrote that post. That was Steven. So, he could either pop his top 3 into the comments.
Are you saying you're excited about the Amex debit card, Craig?
I'm very excited. No, I'm not. I mean, if it turned out that you could really use it to, for example, pay your taxes as debit, something like that, then I'd be very happy about the idea. But it just seems to me very, very unlikely that will be the case with it being an Amex card. And I just don't think systems will allow it. So anyway, to be determined as to whether it's any use, because if it's not recognized as a debit card by places that charge lower fees or let you buy money-like things with a debit card, then it's not going to have any kind of like gaming potential.
Yeah, I'm not particularly excited about it either. The point debit card already offers 1% back. I mean, yeah, it's got an annual fee, so there's that aspect of it, but they run enough promotions that it kind of seems to balance a lot of that out or has more than balanced it out for me anyway so far. So I'm not particularly excited about one membership reward point for every $2 spent. It's still good, but it's not like excitingly good to me necessarily, especially compared to 2%, because then I'm paying a cent or 1% rather, or for every $2 it'd be 2%. So I'd be paying essentially 2 cents for every membership rewards point if I were to use the Amex debit card just over the point debit card, and that's only one example. So that doesn't excite me. So I'm not excited at least for that, because the point card is already in my wallet, and then you've got lots of other things like the Cash App card that has all the various the 10% back at restaurants forever, and Bitcoin, and they've done all these little like 5% back at Sam's Club for a while here and there. So I mean, if you're interested in debit cards, there's a lot of those types of limited time offers on debit cards that can be really interesting and profitable. So one membership rewards point for every $2 just doesn't do it. Now there's more to look at. I know I've been hearing about this Nearside card, and I'm sure that there are more on the market like that. There's a few others that I know I've read about, and I can't think of the names of right now. So we'll have to spend some more time on that. But there are a number out there. The other thing, the Schwab debit card is worth having, A, for the fee-free ATM withdrawals when you travel, and B, it's got price protection on it. It's only a debit card, but there aren't that many credit cards left that have price protection, and the Schwab card does. Point card has some interesting things too, like the rideshare protection, where you leave something in an Uber that you booked with your card, you can get it, make a claim up to $500. So there's some side benefits like that out there too. And so far, this Amex debit card, all I'm hearing is one membership rewards point per $2 spent, and that just isn't enough. Doesn't move the needle for me. All right, Benjamin says, should I? And the last thing is, and I don't want to get involved in too many shenanigans with my Amex debit card and risk all of my other membership rewards points to earn one membership reward point per $2 spent. That's the other thing. Like there's some people that I think are probably looking at it like, ooh, how can I MS this? And I'm like, Amex has so many great opportunities out there. What am I going to risk it all for one membership reward point for $2?
That's a good point. Good point.
Forget about it. All right. Benjamin says, should I pay to upgrade my American Airlines Citi Platinum card to the Citi AA World Elite, or just open a new AA World Elite card? So he has the Citi AA Platinum card, wondering whether to pay to move to the World Elite or just open a new World Elite?
So for some reason, he wants the World Elite one.
Yes.
And I mean, if you can qualify for the welcome bonus of the new one, why not sign up new?
Yeah, I mean, grab the points, grab the easy points, I would think. So yeah, I can't think of
the nice thing too. Then you can product change your existing card to one of the city cards that are good to have but don't offer big welcome bonuses, like the double cash card that never has any kind of sign up bonus. So if you don't already have that, like that's a good example of where you could take the card that's already open and make it better.
Right, exactly. Do that after you open your new World Elite card, then product change the old one over to something more useful.
Right, after, because you might not get approved for the new one. Yeah,
right. All right, Michael says, hi guys, I was wondering if you had any experience with the B&H Camera Store credit card that gives you an instant rebate for the amount you pay in sales tax. Didn't that change? I thought that they changed that. I saw that. I remember seeing it, but I thought that something changed with the card. I can't remember. I imagine that's probably not been a card that you had on your
I don't know anything about that. No.
Yeah, B&H Photo. So it's big electronics store out of New York City. They've specialized in photo and video gear, but they have lots of other electronics. And they did have that offer on the credit card for a long time, but I could have sworn that in like November, December, something changed on that. So sorry, no good answer there, except I thought it changed. So that's about the best I can give you. Guillermo says, have either of you used Hyatt Prive for any stays? If so, who do you use for a travel advisor? Should you use a local agent / advisor? What do you think, Greg?
I haven't done that at all. But you have, right?
I have. Yeah. So
you talk about that.
My first Hyatt Privé stay I wrote about on Frequent Miler. It was in New York City. I used it there at the Grand Hyatt, I guess is what it was. I don't know if I think they've renamed it now something else. But and that stay I booked through what is it? Travel Society. It's through 1 Mile at a Time. 1 Mile at a Time. Ford from 1 Mile at a Time has a travel agency, and they do Hyatt Privé bookings. So I booked it through them. Then more recently, I booked a Hyatt Privé stay through TravelZork. And so you can find some information about TravelZork in the post that we have about ways to get the elite experience without elite status, like getting the hotel elite experience without elite status, I think, or something like that is the name of the post. And so there's a link there to TravelZork. I've used them and I've actually been really impressed. The response time has been excellent. So I've been really happy with stuff that I've done with them so far. So those are two possibilities for you. Now, the Privé program is awesome. A very good program. Go ahead. Were you going to add something?
Do you want to say anything? So I was just going to say that sometime soon we should have a page on our site where you can fill out what you're interested in, and it'll basically just shoot the information over to TravelZork to reply to you with a proposal for a privé stay or really any of those kind of programs, so they can help you with not just Hyatt, with other ones as well.
That's right. They help me with the Marriott Stars booking, and they have access to Hilton Impresario and most of those different preferred partner programs. So, and like I said, response time was very good and very thorough, and read what I wrote, even when I wrote a kind of long message, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff matters to me. So, so that was all good. And the High Private program, for anybody who's not familiar, it's basically a way to get almost like global listee status, or like a fine hotels and resorts sort of a set of benefits while booking through Hyatt directly. So you book through an advisor, you have to book through an advisor. So that's why this question is being asked about where to find one. And then you get a lot of the benefits that you might expect through like a fine hotels and resorts. You get $100 credit at many places. Some places it's 50. It depends on where you're going, which brand. You can find that kind of information online. And then you get a late checkout. You get a room upgrade at the time of booking, which is kind of nice. So I booked a room right below the suite a couple of times and got upgraded to a suite. So that was nice because it was at the time of booking, getting that. And you also get Hyatt Elite credit, of course, and Hyatt points. So, that's obviously excellent also. So all good stuff there. So I would definitely check that out. And if there's any advantage of going through a local agent / advisor, you said, I wouldn't know what it is, because it's basically, sending off an email and asking for your stuff to get done. So whether the person is sitting next to you or sitting halfway around the world, I don't think probably makes much of a difference at all, as long as they take care of business and do what it is you're looking for. So I wouldn't worry too much about where they are. Let's see. Number 18 here asks, the inevitable asks, what do you think about other YouTube channels like AskSebby, Waller's Wallet, Credit Shifu, is it? Will you ever do a collaboration? I think that Greg froze on that question. So I guess I'll try to field it while we wait for him to get reconnected, assuming that I'm still here. Maybe Steven can just confirm that I am still here. Yeah, okay, this is Greg again. So as far as other YouTubers, I don't spend a lot of time watching. Oh, there we go. Other YouTube channels, but I'm familiar with at least AskSebby and Waller's Wallet. I have not checked out Credit Shifu yet. What do you think, Greg? Would we do a collaboration? What do you think about these other YouTube channels?
Yeah, they're probably great. I haven't checked them out, so I definitely can't answer that. Would we do a collaboration? I mean, I'm not against the idea, but I don't have any particular I don't know, ideas that would suggest that would be a good idea. I had no idea why, like, what would lead us to that. I don't have anything in mind.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've seen Dustin from Waller's Wallet. I saw him speak at an FTU, and I thought he was excellent. I've watched some of his videos. They've been fantastic, the ones that I've watched. And I've watched a few AskSebby videos. And again, they've been excellent, the ones that I've watched, but I certainly haven't watched like their entire body of work. So I can't really speak to the channel overall. Just the couple of videos I watched, I thought were very well done. So yeah, I guess like Greg said, if there was some sort of an opportunity that made sense, then maybe we would do that. But it certainly hasn't been something that had been on our radar at this point, I guess. Yeah. Next question up asks, what are the best options to get to Bora Bora in business class? Do you have those memorized, Greg?
No, but the first thing that pops in my mind is Air France's fifth Freedom flight, right? Mm-hmm. What is that? LA to Tahiti?
Yep, it sure is. So that's an option. You're flying Blue Miles. You could book that. I'm sure you could probably book it through Delta also. So that's one of your options. You really don't have that many options. So it's that. It's Air Tahiti Nui, which is going to fly out of Los Angeles for sure. They may also have a flight out of San Francisco. I'm not sure on that. Somebody will have to double check me. And that you would book probably with American Airlines miles, I think, unless Greg has another option in mind. And then United has a flight from San Francisco, which I don't know if it's still operating or not, but they always did. Finding business class on that, though, I think is like a needle in a haystack situation. Air Tahiti Nui is more known for having at least those two seats available on a lot of flights, and Air France often will have decent enough pricing if you're booking far in advance on that. You really want to look
sometimes
far out in advance. Yeah. And then other than that, I know French B flies, but that's all economy class, I think. So that's probably not what you're looking for. And then finally, when I went to Bora Bora, I flew to Honolulu first using Turkish miles and smiles to get to Honolulu. And then I used miles to fly Hawaiian Airlines from Honolulu to Tahiti. Now, I did that because the stop in Hawaii seemed like a nice idea. So
sure.
It didn't seem like a bad place to spend a couple of days. And it's only like a 5-hour flight from Honolulu. So I did that, and Hawaiian Airlines business class was reasonably nice too. So if you can't get anything else, then that's another option to consider. Okay. Wyndham Vacasa question. Please offer some suggestions. Which gas stations sell $500?
Sounds like a good one to me. I like that idea.
Visa gift cards, excluding Speedway and 7-Eleven. So Wyndham Vacasa, like manufactured spending type question. Where can you get $500 Visa gift cards?
Yeah, well, it looks like Steven has a suggestion.
Yeah, he says that Sheets sells gift cards, but he can't remember if they have variable load gift cards. And I'm not sure either. I've stopped and gotten gas at many a Sheets station before, but I have not looked for their gift card rack there. I mean, also you just have to check the things that are available in your area. Like I live in the Northeast, and so when Gift of College started selling gift cards at Cumberland Farms, they sold the variable load 529, sort of Gift of College cards. So since I knew they were selling those up to $500, I thought, let me look at the rack and see if they have Visa gift cards. And sure enough, they did, and they were loadable up to $500. But Cumberland Farms is a very small regional gas station chain that's not going to be in a lot of the country, but it'll be out there at least somewhere for you, potentially, or you want to look and see what's available in your area. So really, that's hard to say, I think, without looking at the gas stations that are specifically in your area. I don't know of other very commonly available options beyond 7-Eleven and Speedway. Those would be the ones that are more commonly available. All right. Next question. Joseph asks us, what do you think will happen to Meridien Maldives once Marriott goes dynamic next month? How much do you think the award pricing will increase, Greg?
Yeah. Well, because of the pandemic, like the cash prices haven't been crazy there. At some point the cash prices will go up, and I think we'll see the point prices go up crazily along with that. But for now, I mean, it's very common to see, at least when I've looked, like, less than $500 a night, and which is on the low side for that quality of a resort. So, I don't think it'll be, I don't think it'll be that surprising to see us still able to book around the 40,000 points per night off. And
yeah, I'm going to agree with Greg. I know he's breaking up a little bit there. I totally agree with Greg. Cash rates have been in the $400 a lot of the times when I've looked. So I think that it would be reasonable to expect it to still be in that 40,000-ish range, maybe 50. I can't imagine it going beyond 50 really right now, especially with all the other properties they have there. They have to leave some room for those properties. And it's significantly less expensive than properties like the JW Marriott there or the St. Regis. So they have to leave a little room. So I think maybe Greg is back. I don't know. You keep looking freezy and glitching up. So we couldn't hear everything you said, but we got you up to the point where you basically said that.
Yeah, I can't tell when I'm here or not.
Right. I mean, that seems very California of you.
Right. No, I could, when I'm frozen, I can usually hear you. I just don't know whether I'm frozen, but I guess I was. All right.
All right. There you go.
Anything else?
Yes. So we have another question here. Question. Big fan of you guys' videos. Greg, when you book Alila Ventana Big Sur, do you fly out of San Francisco and rent a car to get there? Or how do you go about getting there? So that's a great one. How do you get there?
Yeah. both times that I've been here,
well, I would hope maybe somebody could hear him, but I guess not. So both times Greg has been there, he flew in somewhere and got to the hotel somehow. Those are the things that I know for sure. I think he flew into San Francisco both times, I think, and rented a car. But to be honest with you, I guess we'll have to hope that he thaws back out and comes back again to answer that question better than I can. In the meantime, Kirk says, would love to hear about the current tools you use for finding award seats, either here or on the site. So right now, there's unfortunately not a lot that's available in terms of, a consolidated tool for you. So now it's a lot of hunting and pecking, so to speak, and looking at various different sites to see where you can find availability. For example, you're going to have to go to American Airlines and United and just manually search the various options and have to try and remember where you can find seats. I got my fingers crossed that one of these days we'll get a tool back that is particularly useful for searching a lot of different award availability at once. But right now, finding award seats, I've been using Seat Spy more often. That's one tool that I've been using quite a bit more. You can find some posts about that on Frequent Miler. Greg wrote about Seat Spy a few times already, and I started using that quite a bit lately to find available seats, A, on United, and then B, also on British Airways, looking for availability with them. So there's a number of different airlines you can look for availability and look at a year at a time. That's the nice thing with Seat Spy. You can see a year of availability. You just do a search and really quickly find a year of availability in whichever class you want. So that, excuse me, has been a tool that I've been using quite a bit. Now, Greg, we didn't hear how you get there. We heard you start to say that last couple times I said flew into an airport and rented a car. so how about you tell us how do you get there?
I fly to San Francisco, but what I was saying is that flying to Monterey is a good option if you can get there easily, because it's much closer. It's only about an hour drive or less than an hour from the Monterey airport to down here.
Okay, so it's closer to the Monterey airport. That's good to know.
Going from
now, we got you again, I think.
We drove. Yeah, am I back?
Yeah.
We drove to Sausalito, which is right by San Francisco, and spent a few nights there. And then we went down one along the coast to get here. And that's such a beautiful drive. It's several hours, about 3-hour drive. But I think it's totally worth it to go out. And Big Sur doesn't let you down when you get here.
Very good. Yeah, I drove one down to Monterey once, and yeah, it's just a gorgeous view. So I wouldn't be too disappointed about flying to San Francisco and driving the whole way. I think I'd enjoy that, being somebody that doesn't live on the coast exactly. So I live in a coastal state, I guess, but I don't live near the coast. So that to me is exciting. Okay, so let's see. Next question. Just want to make sure I didn't jump over one. There we go. Is it possible to add a spreadsheet for American Airlines loyalty points, which mentions things that have worked? It's really hard to keep track of in the post comments to jump on something. So we have a post that I'm now keeping up to date when people say whether something worked or not. So that's the how to earn American Airlines loyalty points. Stephen will pop the link in the box for you. And in that one, I have the ones that have worked and the ones that don't work. It says avoid these. So it's split up. So you don't have to follow through all the comments. I am keeping track of the comments on there to mark which ones have worked and which ones haven't. So that will save you hopefully a little bit of time. That was the idea behind creating that post. That hopefully it'll save you a little bit of time. I think Greg is back yet again. So we said San Francisco, drive it down from there. Next question up. David asks, with my Hilton Surpass, how can I get 3 people into the priority lounges at one time, myself and 2 others?
I
believe with the Hilton Surpass card. So he's got the Hilton Surpass card, which I believe offers 10 priority pass lounge visits a year, right? Oh, lost Greg again. So to my knowledge, the Hilton Surpass card offers 10 priority pass lounge visits per year. And so assuming that that's what it still has, which I'm fairly confident that is what it has, then you should just be able to show your priority pass and they'll swipe it 3 times or swipe it once for 3 guests, and it'll just take 3 of your 10 visits out. So you should be able to do that. No problem. It should be really easy. You just tell them you have 3 people and they're going to charge priority pass for 3 and you've got 10 on your account, so to speak. So I think that will be simple enough to do. And if Greg here has any different thoughts on that, you can jump in. Otherwise, we have one more question, I think. So the last question was, I have Singapore first class new suites and Emirates first class 777 and possibly Lufthansa first class booked for this summer. What is the next first class product I should strive for? In Chase, Amex, and soon to be Capital One ecosystems, my city is all drained. So what's the next first class after you've done Singapore and you've done Emirates and you've done Lufthansa? Is there another first class somebody should strive for, Greg? He was moving, and then
if Etihad brings back their apartments, that's the one to go for.
There you go. We heard it. You heard it right here. You heard it from Greg. Etihad brings back the apartments. That's the one to go for. If not, I'm gonna stray a little bit and say Thai Airways, because you get your hour massage in the lounge in Bangkok, and I don't know, I just enjoy the Thai Airways experience. I haven't flown Thai Airways first class though, so I'm kind of talking there without that experience. I have flown the business class though, but I totally agree. If Thai departments are out there, that's the one. All right. I think we're out of time, and Greg is in and out of Wi-Fi, so we're gonna let everybody go. Thank you for being here and asking your questions this week. Don't forget to subscribe to our email list. That's frequentmiler.com/subscribe. You can join us here. We do this once a month, second Wednesday of the month, usually at 9 p.m. Eastern. I think this time around we switched it up a little bit. And then check out our podcast, Frequent Miler on the Air. Publishes every Saturday. It's here on YouTube, and then it also is on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Thank you very much, and we will see you guys again for another Ask Us Anything next month. Greg says goodbye too. And I don't think I can unlive us, so we're still live. I think Greg is going to have to unlive us. So that's all she wrote, so to speak. That's all, folks. Yeah, so we lost Greg. He just came back though.